Welcome, everyone, to our lounge. This is the project stream where I will be working on pretty much anything that comes to mind. Doesn't necessarily have to be comics, but doesn't mean that it won't be comics in the future. This is just something that I've been wanting to work on, and so far so good. I spent more time on it last night. I actually spent a lot of time on it last night, fixing certain things here and there. Stayed up pretty late, but it turned out to be worth it. Actually, I like how the face turned out, and there was a lot of correction done. So today I'm just going to work more on the body. The mandolin turned out alright, with some fixing here and there. So I'm gonna work more on like the dress, and then I think I will start coloring. There's a part of me that wants to redo the hair, just like trace it again, because right now it seems like it's really prominent as opposed to everything else, and that wasn't really the intent there. I wanted to do thin lines throughout the entire image, so maybe I'll do that. After I work more on the body. Hope you all are having a good week so far. It's just the beginning. And those of you who are also part of the Drawing Basics stream, I hope you guys have a productive week so far and you're getting a lot of practice. And you're including drawing in your schedule. In the previous stream, I was discussing motivation. Just how challenging it could be to actually just start doing it, just start drawing. For me, it took a while just to accept that waiting for inspiration to kick in wasn't the way to do it. I mean, you could do it if you're just more of a hobbyist, like if you just draw as a hobby and you just like to doodle here and there. But if you're really looking to improve your work, take it to the next level up, let's just say, because that's really what it's like. I think it's like the closest example to what happens. You know, when you're drawing a lot, you start out as a beginner, it's like being level 1. If you're a gamer, and then through practice, you gain more and more ability. And before you know it, you're level 50. Because you practiced every day. Yeah, and it took me a while to understand that working off of inspiring moments wasn't the way to level up. My work really started to excel a lot more when I just decided that I would sit and do it almost mindlessly, make that decision. Like, not sitting there and being like, okay, you have to, and kind of like battling internally. Not even that. It would just be like tying your shoe, like brushing your teeth, like, I don't know, for those of you who exercise, it's like exercising, or pretty much anything that you do throughout the day, like eating. You just have to accept that it has to be done. Even though sometimes you might not feel like going into the kitchen and making yourself something to eat, you have to do it. And drawing became that kind of rule. And that's when I started to see like really good results. But the funny thing is that it doesn't even have to be that grueling of a task where you're just like, oh God, I just do it. It starts out mindless. It starts out you just doing it because, it's like eating and drinking water. But then by the time you sit down and you get into it and you start drawing, just reminds you how fun it is and why you decided to pick drawing in the first place. You just need that little boost from yourself. And emphasis on yourself. If you have somebody there who's motivating you, that's great. But you don't want to depend on that. Because if that person is not around, whatever it is that's not around, then, you're back to square one again. But if you teach yourself to stay motivated, or to just do these things, it's going to be very rewarding for multiple reasons. It wouldn't just be for drawing. That carries over into other ways. It's just called self-disciplining yourself. Knowing that you need to do certain things. And getting yourself to do it. Avoid reasoning with yourself as much as possible when it comes to responsibilities like that. Like, don't reason with yourself. Don't be like, well, I could do it like in an hour, or maybe tomorrow is better because I'm blah, blah, blah. No, don't even give yourself that time to do it. And we all have that side. I have that side, you have that side. We all have that side that just doesn't want to do certain things, or isn't feeling motivated. But that is the biggest challenge pretty much anybody and everyone faces. Can you get yourself past that? Can you learn to be more self-disciplined? And some people ascribe all sorts of stuff to it. They're like, oh, I'm just not meant to. And then you notice that kind of approach applies to a lot of things that they do in their life. If it's not drawing, it's something else that they're just like, well, I'll do it later, or I'll get somebody else to do it, or whatever. It just becomes this thing of like not wanting to surpass this capricious side that we all have, and always giving into it. And that side is something that we have, I think, from birth. And as we get older, we either control it or give into it all the time. And, you know, the kid that throws temper tantrums whenever they don't want something or they don't want to do something. But as we get older, we stop doing that and we just start doing things to be more self-sufficient, that sort of thing. So it's just to highlight how it's not like you are incapable of. I mean, of course, there are people with conditions, but make sure you check out all these other boxes before you ascribe that. Is it really that, or is it just that I don't want to push myself beyond my comfort zone? And when will I learn to do that if not now? The old you would say tomorrow. But the new you is like, I'm not even going to entertain that idea. I'm just going to do it now. And sticking to it. And that's the other challenge. It's one challenge to motivate yourself to do it in that day, right? It could be that you have like this burst of energy one day and you're just like, yeah, I'm going to do it today. Today is going to be. And the next day you wake up and something happens where it rubs you the wrong way or whatnot. And suddenly everything is just like back to nothing, you know? And you're just like, I'm going to do it tomorrow. And tomorrow comes around and you find something else that's rubbing you the wrong way. And you're just like, well, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to do it the next day. We've all been there. I've been there. You know, I'm not excluding myself from this. I absolutely take responsibility for that. But at the end of the day, I feel so much better that I actually got myself to do the things that I was supposed to do. And I think that goes for pretty much everyone as well. Like, if you reflect at the end of the day, like, it started out that you were frustrated, started out wrong for whatever reason, and then you set yourself on track. Like, all right, I did it. I did a good job there. I'm a little hesitant to put all these lines there, but I'm going to do it. The other half, like over here at the bottom, I'm going to leave that up to color to show shadows. So what do you, as a viewer, find to be the most challenging part about self-motivating? What are some of the thought processes that you have before you sit down to actually do something, or when you confront yourself to do them? Guess that's my question that goes out to the viewers, and share it in the comment section. Post about it, see how many other people could relate, how many other people could say, yeah, that's exactly what I go through as well. It's so true. Now the question is, should I do more on the dress itself? Like all these lines here as well. For consistency's sake, because it seems like a lot of details going up there and not much is going on the dress. But from the looks of it, it's like a one piece, so I don't think it should have that much of a difference. I'm curious. I'm curious what it's going to look like as a whole if I make the dress as consistent with lines. Let me take a look here though, because some places look like there's like highlights, so it might not be as visible. Maybe that's why I don't have light. Not many lines there. Some places are in shadow. Okay. I'm going to leave it alone until I start coloring. And what I'm going to work on is another part of the mandolin. In fact, I'm going to work on the mandolin for a bit, because there's some detail here that really needs the attention. This music is very Blade Runner. Maybe we might do it like now. Problem is, anything darker or lighter than black is gonna show. There's a little clip there on the clip. And I kind of want to capture it, but I'm not going to spend too much time on it. gonna move on to other parts like the mandolin. I'm trying not to get bogged down by detail. Just really zooming in on every little part. I think it just kind of taps into something that we all have. Obsessiveness. Like, I think that kind of that sort of drive is present in everyone. You know, they become obsessed with certain things. Like, some people become obsessed with celebrities, right? Or when people are in relationships, they become obsessed with each other in some way. I think it's just like a human quality, which allows us to really explore things to the next level. Like the same things in science, when people are just breaking everything down to the tiniest little detail. It's obsessiveness, you know, trying to figure out more and more and more. Like, what is this about? What's that about? Whatever the topic is that they're researching, and they become obsessed with it and just zero in on it. People become obsessed with sound. And it's just kind of having a healthy relationship with that part of ourselves, where obsessiveness becomes borderline, like crazy almost. But obsessing over music, I don't think is terrible. Obsessing over art, it's not terrible, because it's no one subjected to it. Just whatever it is that you're tinkering with, right? It's if you're like obsessed with painting, just doing that all the time, talking about it, doing it every day, trying to like get better and better or improve on certain parts of your drawing. Or writing. When people are just like obsessed with their story and they just revise it over and over again. Change this about it, change that about it. I've heard this song before. I think I'm absolutely going to get flagged for this, even though it's all legit rights wise. But this sounds like a popular song that I've heard before, so I'm sure that their algorithm or whatever it is gonna associate this with something else. still trying to figure this out because I'm like, I like the way the hair looks right now. But maybe I should just retrace it. For the sake of consistency with all other parts of the... Yeah, I'm gonna do it and keep the layer behind it. The only problem is going to be selecting. I don't know, y'all. I think I'm going to just jump into coloring, and then I'm going to do the hair later. I think that's my resolution. Nope. Nope. There's this background that I want to include. Let's start by creating a new layer. Most crucial step. I want to say it's like a painting. Ooh, I'm kind of jumping the gun here because I was supposed to work more on the mandolin, put in the frets and stuff. But I'm already in it. I'm just gonna stick with it. Took me a while to get to this point. I'm just gonna go with it. I'm gonna fill it in and work on it as I go. Now I'm going to separate things into colors so that way I can play around with the tint later. I'm almost positive that's going to be a thing. Oh, gonna do a new layer for the dress. And as you guys can see, it becomes really beneficial to have everything on a different layer, because it allows like a more of like a free-flowing process with coloring. If you make a mistake, no big deal, because you could just erase it for that one color and not have to worry about your other colors being erased with it. Some people like to use the lasso tool. I think it kind of takes away from the process being fun. It becomes so much about the speed, and you're just like not drawing anymore. You're just doing technical work. New layer for the mandolin.
What is your own purpose in writing music?
That's a really good question. What is my purpose in writing music is very similar to the question.
To be honest, I think the background, that painting, is so important. Like, it really
It doesn't feed us or hold our buildings.
it transforms the image almost.
It doesn't do anything apparent for us.
Uh-oh.
I have an idea about it.
And a new layer it as well.
Our human brains are big messes. They're product of a lot of very recent evolution that's still kind of in progress. Jumbled together, putting on the facade of actually working beautifully together. But it's kind of a mess to have both that sort of lizard part of your brain working its way up Maslow's hierarchy and having social relationships and having human curiosity and having our just insatiable desire to see patterns. We love meaning even when there is none to be found. All of this is rattling around in our heads, and it means that being human and being conscious can be a very demanding and difficult thing. And I think the purpose of art in general, but especially of music, which is so abstract, is that music both articulates and aids just the process of being conscious and alive.
I agree with that, with what music does. It's a tool of self-expression.
And music teaches us how to do it. It teaches us how to deal with tension and release and expectation and emotions of every kind, including ones that we don't have words for. And finding patterns and losing patterns. It takes all of the messy experience of all the different aspects of consciousness that we struggle with and puts them in a package that we can deal with, that's orderly and beautiful, and says, here's a thing that's a reflection of your consciousness that's beautiful, that actually works. And by beautiful, I don't necessarily mean pretty and sunshiny. By beautiful, I mean it's right, it's balanced. It has a kind of order to it, even if by beautiful I might mean something that's very dark and tense and dissonant, but there's a beauty in that when it's just so. It lets us encounter the most difficult parts of having a mind and deal with them in a way that's safe and constructive and helpful. So I guess I would say, in brief, the point of me writing music, my purpose, is music therapy for myself and for others. It's to help us all deal with being human. Because, good Lord, look at the planet. We could all use some help with that.
I agree with like most of the stuff that he was saying. And I guess it is, in a sense, orderly. I'm trying to think of, well, there must be music out there that isn't orderly. But even in the most disorderly type of music, there's still order in terms of notes. You know, they're playing certain notes. And that's order, right? Like certain notes sound great together, whereas other ones is just, you know, that's the difference between somebody who knows how to play instruments and someone who's just picking them up and bashing the keys, for example. You know, that's like the most disorderly way of playing music. It's just like not even playing anything. But then when you have too much pattern, right, it becomes really annoying. Like if it's the same beat over and over and over and over and over again, you're just like, why am I listening to this? This isn't fun. So it's like a balance between both orderly and disorderly. And I think to a lot of people, disorderly is frightening because it's uncertain. And because we need so much security and certainty, it just kind of plays against that. But our existence kind of shows how we need both. You know, you're not going to watch or do the same thing over and over and over and over again. At some point, people get bored by that, right? We need variety, we need variation. To not feel as if though we're just stuck in one day. Kind of like Groundhog Day. I don't know if you guys ever seen that one. That's another great movie with Bill Murray, where he gets stuck in one day and he just predicts pretty much everything over and over and over again because there's nothing else, and it's just driving him insane. I thought it was such an interesting idea and movie. Whoa, it's almost over. The stream is almost over. But I think we got somewhere today. And this is good progress. I'm liking it. I like the color scheme so far. It looks good. There's still a lot of work to do. There's still more stuff that I want to include. Let me just finish with this little detail here. And this is going to be another layer. It's going to allow me to play with it later. Can I do this? Can I? Add this to a layer as well. What's going on here? Why doesn't it want to draw? This might be a very specific thing that I'm gonna have to do. Because it's supposed to be like a solid, consistent width and whoa. Well, ladies and gents, that's it for the day, for the project stream, that is. I will be back in 5 minutes, maybe a little longer. I need to take a quick break, but I will be back in 5 minutes for coloring comics, and you guys can tune back in tomorrow to see more progress of this at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard, right here on Twitch at the Art Lounge. Thanks for tuning in, y'all. I'll see you in a few.